Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Post-Match Pint, the only West Ham United post-match fallout show on the internet. We've just been up to Sunderland away. Well, me and Ryan did. Scotty stayed here. And,
he's like the canny.
Yeah, don't do away days. Yeah. It was West Ham 2, Sunderland 2. We'll be chatting about a few other things, like Adrian's new contract and Ena Valencia back in training, Andy Carroll's injury after the match, but after the show. But 2-2. Is that a good result?
From 2-0 down it is.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, isn't it? It feels like a victory.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't.
No.
Just like against Norwich, felt like a victory.
Thing is, if you had said before the game you're going to get a point,
you wouldn't have took it.
No. And that's the thing. Go 2-0 down, come back 2-2.
Do you know what? I would have taken a point. I would have taken a point if it was a hard-fought game and we played well for the whole game.
Yeah.
You know, because Sunderland are on their arse, yeah, more or less. And as someone said the other day, you know, they've got to start fighting at some point.
Yeah.
They've got to start playing at some point.
Yeah, they've got nothing to lose now.
Yeah, that's right. But the first, let's go for the game. We started the game and we started so poorly. They was just on top from the word go.
Well, they had to be, didn't they? They had to be.
They did, but I think we made them look good.
From what I saw, we kicked off and we just moved the ball across the back again. And for me, we were sitting so deep. We allowed. I know away from home we're trying to play this counter-attacking system, but against teams like Sunderland,
you've got to attack them.
Yeah.
I mean, but this is starting to worry me a little bit about West Ham. Right, is the fact that we've had them warning shots against Bournemouth, against Norwich last week, and we're not learning.
No.
That's what worries me. I mean, you know, people say Slav, you know, he's gone away to Man City, and you know that's where you can soak up the pressure. That's where the concentration levels have to be high from the players because they know that they're going to bombard them. They wasn't expecting that from Sunderland yesterday.
No, the thing is, we still try to play the same way, sit back and soak up the pressure, and then you're inviting it onto us, but it's the individual mistakes that cost us.
It's not picking up the second ball as well.
No. You know, we picked up, if you go back to when we played Bournemouth, when we were watching that, and the amount of space, even Newcastle, the amount of space we give opposition midfield in and around our box is dangerous. You know, we can't keep doing it. And like you said, we're not learning from the mistakes we've made in previous games. We're not learning, in my mind.
Well, it's been... I wouldn't say a mixed season. We've had a good season so far. We're sitting in 5th place. You can't complain. But honestly, the lack of points picked up against the lower sides is starting to worry me a little bit.
Well, yeah, you got, just to say, for instance, Leicester, Bournemouth, Norwich, Sunderland, 2 points.
3. Oh, no, 2.
Points.
2. Yeah, 2.
2 points. And then you look at Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool. There's 9 points now. Yeah. So that's what I think our season's going to go.
The thing is, with the Leicester one, Leicester have had as good a start as we had. So you can accept that one. The Bournemouth one you can't accept. You know, losing to Bournemouth the way we lost to that was ridiculous.
Well, you've got to chuck in as well. We picked up 3 points against Newcastle at home as well. So 5 out of all of them.
But when
still not good enough, really.
When you look at Newcastle and you look at Sunderland, they are both awful.
They are awful. I'm going to stick up for the lesser teams. There are no easy games in this league. That is the problem. I mean, anyone can go to anyone. I mean, I watched the match of the day yesterday. I watched the Newcastle game. They went 1-0 up. They lost 6-1. That could have been 2 or 3-0.
Yeah.
Before they scored, Man City, before they got on. And I think it's a different game. So you're looking at even the poorer sides can go and create chances, and if you're going to give them space, I don't know whether we're underestimating these sides. But it's just the mistakes we've given goals away against. I can't remember Leicester goals. I can't remember Leicester goals. I can't remember, but I know for a fact we give Bournemouth 2 goals.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 goals.
3 goals, I think.
I think Norwich last week we'd give them a goal at least. The second one I argued I thought we could have dealt with better.
Yeah.
So again, individual mistakes. Yesterday we give away at least 1.
To be fair, it was
two
because of the free kick.
Yeah, Jenkinson pushed him in the back. He didn't need to do it.
That's what I'm saying. And we're not learning from these things. I mean, that Pint gave the ball away yesterday. I thought it was Jenkinson or no. Pint gave it away, and he scored yesterday. Second half he was a lot better than he was, but you know, in the first half he was a bit lacklustre, a bit.
That's the worst game I've seen him play.
Yeah, and he didn't. It wasn't a bad game, was it?
But he scored, and
that's what I mean. If he's going to play bad and still score.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just.
I think with Payet, I mean, everyone expects him to be brilliant every week. You know what I mean? And not every player can be brilliant each week.
No, he was still very, very good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's a good thing.
The thing for me though is he gave away the ball,
but he chased it back.
And to be honest, I know he gave away the ball, but I don't think was it Reedy? I don't think he should have dove in. I think he should have stood up, let the geezer get the ball, because he's still in front of him, and then the guy's got to beat him, and it gives him time to get back behind.
I think he just had that thing that he was, you know, it was real 50-50 stuff. You know, he gets it, danger's gone. Yeah. But he didn't. No. He didn't get it, and he got it, but didn't get it. No purchase on it. I think he was looking same against Arsenal last year when he tried to slide and whack it into Rose Ed, and he never got any purchase on it. Yeah.
Thing is, though, you can't take anything away from Sunderland. They deserve to be 2-0 up.
They definitely did. Do you know what? They weren't as bad
as what you thought.
As I thought.
No.
I think we all underestimated them a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
that free kick, they worked that well.
Very well worked.
So when you watch back, like silly mistake by Jenkinson for fouling Barini. You know, Barini was always going there. As soon as he felt the touch, he was hitting the deck.
Yeah, of course.
Right? But
I don't understand why players put their hands on the back. He's going away from goal. He's going to the corner flag. Let him stand him up.
There's no reason for him to do that.
Box him in. Don't put your hands on him because you know they're going to go down.
Song done it last year against Tottenham.
Yeah,
exactly the same sort of thing. Yeah. He was going nowhere. He was running away from the goal. It would have been some strike and half if he'd have scored it.
And then you sort of take that, didn't you? That strike and half.
Turn that off, man.
Hold on 1 second.
Turn it off.
Yeah, and if you know they're going away from goal, you put your hands up. You're giving the referee a decision.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And players are going to go down easily, and by the letter of the law, it's a foul.
That's it.
You know, it might go down softly, but you put your hands on someone and impede their balance, it should be a foul.
If it's a West Ham player going down that softly after being nudged in the back, then we're screaming for a free kick. So, but. For me, they worked that goal really well.
They did. They've got blockers on, and
O'Shea done brilliantly. He held off his marker as well as Jenkinson to just give Fletcher that extra few seconds to strike that ball. It's a good finish as well for a player.
It's deflection. It was going straight to Adrian's hand.
It went underneath Adrian.
No, it went above him, but Adrian had his palms up. But Reedy knocked it. It skimmed the top of Reedy's head, but it was a good goal. Yeah, it was a good goal.
Down in the bottom with no confidence and a striker that's low on confidence, they worked that well. You know.
So 6 minutes later, we're 2-0 down, given away by Payet, as you say. But as you say, there is a difference between that because as soon as he gives the ball away. Maybe I'm looking at him with rose-tinted glasses because you know he's the man at the moment. But you know he fucking pounded back.
You watch it back, he gives the ball away, he pauses because he thinks Reedy's going to get there, and as soon as you see Reedy's not, he's on his toes, and he ain't far off him when he chips Adrian. Good
that was a great finish.
Good finish.
That was world class finish.
Yeah, it was a good finish.
He can't count yellow cards though, but it was a world class finish.
What do you mean?
He was asking questions why he got sent off.
He got 2 yellow cards?
Yeah, he couldn't quite.
Well, we'll talk about that later. So yeah, 2-0 down. And then there was no pressure. I think this is where West Ham are falling down a little bit. There seems to be no pressure on the back four. You know, the front one, Sacco, again, fruitless game because he's just running himself in the ground. The distances, I was talking to him in the game because we were sitting right up high and you can see the whole pitch. And the distances between the forwards and the midfielders, and then sometimes when they was attacking, the midfielders and the defenders was worrying. There was lots and lots of space in between those lines, and that's where they was hurting us.
If you watch the game back, watched Sacco a few times when we were 2-0 down. He's screaming at the players to come forward because he's got.
We noticed that. Yeah, we noticed that.
Like I said, though, he's got nothing up there with him. No. I think if Carroll would have been fit yesterday, I think Carroll would have started that game yesterday.
Enna's coming back, and I think that's going to make the difference.
He needs someone up there. He can't keep doing it on his own. He works his socks off yesterday, and he's just.
The thing is, against the big boys, you can do it because it's the game plan. We're going to attack with pace. We're going to counter attack. We're going to get the ball moving quickly, but there's games where you ain't going to be able to do that. Now we come up Palace when we come against. They're a counter-attacking team. All right, I know it's at their ground, so they're going to come at us. But you're setting up 2 counter-attacking sides. It ain't going to work. You know, you've got to. This is what we've said before. Maybe he's got the selection right for the big boys, and maybe he still doesn't know what he wants to do when we go up against the lesser sides. It's just
just after that though, with that chance, Barini.
Yeah, that's a game changer. He said it at the time. He called it at the time because he went. He sort of. It was a good work. Good work again. Worked us through the defenders. He's through on goal, and I screamed. This is. I'm screaming at that point.
He should have scored.
And I'm like, it's fucking 3-0 when he's gone through. Yeah. And we said, perfect. It's one of the worst misses I've ever seen. Adrian's committed himself already. He only had to tuck it by his right foot. You know what I mean? It's a dead straight line to the goal. Adrian's already gone. All he's got to do is tap that in, and he misses it. And that, all of a sudden, he said it. He called it. He went, "That's a game changer." Yeah. That's where
we're lucky that weren't Defoe on the end of that ball, because that would have been Defoe. That would have been 3-0.
But to be fair to him, apart from that miss, which was a dreadful miss, he played all right, Barini. I think he had a decent game.
But that's the difference between teams that are down on their luck, things like that.
Yeah.
You know, we've been there. We've been there.
That would have been us last season.
It's been us for the last fucking 5 or 6 seasons.
Yeah. Like, striker goes.
We've been there before. We know what it's like. You 2-0 up against teams and you throw it away. Yeah, so I mean, their fans, when they went 2-0 up, you know, it's worrying when they already started singing "We're Staying Up," like, and it's like at the beginning of October, you know.
Yeah, it's
they're I can't see them surviving, to be honest.
And all of a sudden, I think that again, coming towards half time, a well-worked goal. We scored a well-worked goal. Moses done very well. Moses had an awful game.
Yeah, he was terrible.
An absolutely awful game. But he done that one glimpse, and he created that chance, and it got us back in it. Good finish by Jenks.
Great finish.
Left foot as well.
Left foot, yeah. Smashed it past.
I was criticising him last season because he never used it. He should use
brilliant finish. You know what I mean? And then we're back in it, and the difference with it is when you've got a team down there, is the crowd, the
timing as well.
The timing of it just before half time. Man City done it to us, and it was a silencer, you know.
Yeah.
But just before half time, we get that goal, and they're down there, and they know what's coming. They're expecting it. You know what I mean? He's laughing because I said that yesterday. And they're expecting it.
Do you remember their fans at the front when they kept running towards the thing, doing their nut, weren't they?
They're expecting a downfall, and that's what happened to them, really. And you know, we was very unlucky not to get the third goal in the end. Very unlucky. Couldn't break them down. But he went for it. He got Zarate on the pitch. He got Jelavic on the pitch. But
I think for me, you know, the goal just before half time worked really well in our favour. Then the second half, one of the things was Catmull getting booked because he was putting himself back in the first half, and when he picked up that booking,
he stopped
because he knew he couldn't, especially when Lenz got sent off. He couldn't afford to get sent off, and I think that benefited us as well. Because he just, you know, he was there first half. He was there trying to break up everything, and then he just.
I watched that back yesterday. It looked a bad challenge, but when I watched it back, it was a horrible challenge.
Yeah.
I think that should have been a straight red. It was a scissor from behind.
I think it's because he's took the ball with his first foot.
I think that's a leg breaker. You catch him wrong.
Yeah,
it can be a leg breaker because you're going in with full weight. It's a 2-footed challenge from behind,
off the floor as well.
Off the floor, yeah.
15-20 years ago, that's a great tackle.
No, I don't agree with it.
We're not in 15-20 years.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's just how football's changed.
I don't agree with that because, you know, he catches a standing leg. Reed is a bit more over that side, and he's got his leg in the ground. His leg's broke.
Oh yeah, and there was no doubt
he had no reason to make that challenge.
No, it was another. He made two pointless challenges. Yeah. That one was he got the first booking on the wing, making a challenge on the wing for nothing. For no reason. Got that challenge. Maybe that's his flaws. I don't know. I don't watch Sunderland enough, but that was two.
Wasn't that his first game?
But I don't know, mate.
I don't know. He might be playing for another 3.
I could be wrong, but I'm sure that was like either his first game or his first start or something.
Bilic and Dixon, they must have given the players a boot up the arse at half time because it was totally different.
Totally different side.
Creswell, Jenkinson, Lanzini was class second half. I thought he had a brilliant game second half. Wanted that ball, he wanted to make something happen. He was taking shots, trying to, playing.
There was no one hiding.
No.
That's what I would say about
Everyone
West Ham.
Stepped up.
Even though they was poor, there was no one hiding. There was no one shirking responsibility. There was no one strolling around. Sacco was fucking running his arse off.
Check Kyoto had a poor game yesterday. I thought
a quiet game.
Yeah.
I thought Noble was a little quiet.
I say poor, not a poor game. Yeah,
I thought Noble was poor.
I thought he was better second half. I thought he was better second half, but yeah, I always defend Noble, but even I said to him yesterday he was having a poor game.
Yeah. He didn't have the best games against Norwich.
But the thing is, with Noble, like I said to you yesterday, he's with Alex Song. Alex Song can pick out them passes. Noble's trying to do them, but he can't do them. Yeah. But you got to give him credit for trying. Yeah. But he does give it away a lot.
I'm starting to. Personally, and I know this is going to cause a bit of controversy, I'm starting to think he's not got the quality.
Nah, I don't agree with that. Quality, man.
We said this either at the start of this season and the last season when we were talking about club captains, right? And you said about building the side around Noble. For me, like you said, when Song's back, where does he fit?
Next to him.
I don't think he does.
But the thing is,
who do you then?
Do you not think Noble would get better around them sort of players?
I think.
Don't you think that Noble now is an easy target because he's the captain, just like Nolan?
I don't think he will. I'm not having a go at Nolan. No. I don't hope Noble. And I'm not saying he's not been a good servant. I'm not saying he's not a good player. He's very loyal. But when you look at what we're building, he just hasn't got that.
No, I know what you're saying. And
in him.
I'll put my hands up, and I'm sure Noble put his hands. If there's someone better than him, then you play him.
Yeah. Alex Song's better than him.
And of course,
Lanzini's better than him.
Of course, Alex Song's better than him. But then you're taking out sort of a midfield. Look at him yesterday. Yeah, he was on the verge of getting sent off, but he never stuck to have any challenges.
He didn't do what Catmull did.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't start shying away from the tackles. And to be fair, people are going to say he should have walked. He should have got a second booking for that. But the first booking he got, it was never a booking.
No,
the geezer's fallen over in front of him, and the referee's been talked into booking him. So whether or not a
fully fit midfield, probably Noble wouldn't make it due to class. But sometimes it's not always about being class. It's about having that little tackler, that heartbeat in the midfield. Yeah. You can't always have a team of celebrities and world-class players in midfield.
The only thing that worries me about him, and I totally agree with what you're saying, the only thing that worries about him is his passing ability. And I think if we're going to be passing, he was very good winning the ball back, but he's passing.
I bet if you watch that game back yesterday and the last few games, I bet Kyoto, even Payet, I bet they still make the same mistakes, but it doesn't get picked up on for one because he's captain.
I think it does, but I think
with Noble, with Song coming in there, if he's going to play alongside Song, Noble should concentrate more, breaking up the play, and then just giving that little.
For me, I'd play Noble in front of the back four. Yeah, I'd play him in front of the back four. Like I'm not saying as good as Makaleli, but like Makaleli used to play.
In that sort of role,
break up the play and give it to the good players.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I think it will suit better. But the problem for me is to bring Song in. Who do you drop? Do you then set up a different way?
Yeah, it's tough. Because
do you know what?
Do you know what? When you bring Valencia in?
I'm not going to judge, even though I'm getting a bit disillusioned with the mistakes and not learning from the mistakes. I'm not going to judge him until he's got all them players back, because I think Enner Valencia, we've not seen him this season. No. I think he's a game changer. I think because his natural game is a wing player. What Sacco's trying to do, I think we said this last week, what Sacco's trying to do in running in the channels, he does that, and that is his natural game. Sacco wants to be in the middle scoring goals, and I'm not going to judge Bilic until they all come back. And then we've got Carroll back now. We'll talk about him in a minute, but we've got Carroll back now. We've got Enner back in the next couple of weeks. Song's coming back at the end of the month. Zarati's fully fit now, and he gives us a different dimension. I'm not going to judge him until we've got all these
as well on the bench.
All these players are getting back. I would have liked to. Let's talk about the starting lineup. I would like to see him give it a go yesterday. Antonio. I think when Moses come on, I think it was Antonio would have given us a bit more pace, power and punch.
I was thinking this yesterday about Antonio. Do you think that was another Sullivan signing and not a Bilic signing? Because Bilic ain't giving him a chance. These games, Sunderland away and Norwich at home, you think he'd play? You'd think he'd get 15, 20 minutes.
I thought he would have come on yesterday, just to the fact that we've got Chelsea soon and Moses can't play. I know we've got Palace first, haven't we? And Moses is going to play against Palace. Obviously he's going to miss out but I would have thought he would have come on. The substitutions, apart from, unless Reedy was pre-planned because of the injury he had, or whether he picked up another injury,
that comes at the end of October, the Chelsea game. Maybe Enner will be back by then.
That's it. But then that brings up the question: is Antonio signing that wasn't made by Bilic?
Yeah, will he go back out?
I don't think that he was. I don't think that Bilic is the sort of man that would take that sort of nonsense. Do you know what I mean? Like all this, I know he's got lumbered with Randolph and
Allardyce weren't the sort of person to take that, but he still had to put up with it. Zarate wasn't an Allardyce.
In the day, they're the owners. They get final say.
I don't know whether.
I just don't see why he wasn't, especially against Norwich at home. I don't see why he wasn't brought on. Why bring him on for 15 minutes at City away?
There could be
battered.
There could be a host of things. He might not be ready. Yeah. They might not feel he's ready, because he's stepping up in the Championship.
But then why bring him on at City away when we're getting battered, and not against Norwich at home when we're chasing a win?
I don't know.
Or Sunderland away,
I don't know.
I think when he said about
he's been on the bench, so he's not like he's not fit.
When he said about bringing him on against City, it was to try and offer that bit of protection, because when he brought him on, I think he took him off for Lanzini. And he said it may not be Lanzini, but he brought him on to try and give it that, so we had a bit more protection down the wings. That's what he said he brought him on for.
Right.
So, but it said maybe.
But he's not a natural pacey fast winger who scores goals. Could a game against Norwich or something like that?
It could be just he's not ready. You know what I mean? You got to give these players bedding in time. He's not. Yeah. He's been here a month.
But then how can you get someone used to Premier League football when you're not bringing them on?
No, of course. It's that
you can't play an under 21 on a Friday night at home and in front of 50 people and think that's a Premier League game.
It's the same sort of thing with Oxford. Why Oxford's not been put out on loan, I don't know. Because he's training with the first team.
I told you why Oxford ain't going out on loan.
He needs to.
I'm told you why he ain't going out on loan. He's too young. You can't trust a player that young with a development of his muscles, and this is crucial times for him.
Yeah, but even
injuries now. But wait till I'm saying.
Yeah, go on.
Even now, at 16 years old, you're still developing. You get some sort of muscle tear. It could really queue up for the rest of your life. It happened to Owen. Owen got hamstring injuries at 18, and he never recovered from for his whole career. That's because his body wasn't fully developed. He was still developing his body. At 16, I told you now, I wouldn't be sending him out to. I'd go playing reserves where they can keep a proper eye on him. Make sure he's getting a proper diet, make sure he's getting a proper after game treatment, because you send him out to, I've said this before, you send him out to Rochdale or Brentford or Bradford or someone like that, they don't care. They don't care if they want him short. They've only got him short term. They ain't looking at his long term development. They get his injury there. He's got to be properly looked after. Properly looked after.
For a 16-year-old to be training with a first team squad at West Ham is enough experience anyway. To be honest, and then he'll play under 21 games. Maybe he might be playing. I don't really ain't really seen it, but he might play in the under-18 games as well, just for a bit of match experience.
I think he needs to be kept on until he's about 18.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's what you forget, he is only 16.
Back to the game. There was a game to talk about. We got the second. Payet. Brilliant shot from Lanzini. Fumbled by Pantomime.
Yeah, that was a poor, wasn't it? I don't know what he was doing.
You didn't see it from behind the goal.
It was swerving. It was a dipper and a swerver.
You couldn't really tell from behind the goal, because they didn't show that on the replays. But it must have moved for him.
He did, of course, it did. That. You know, they do move. You know,
he's a decent goalkeeper as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not bad.
So no, it
comes off his hands.
Well,
Payet. Do you know what? I watched the replay. Right. He was behind 3 players, and he gave the ball to Lanzini, but still had the frame of mind to run in to follow it up. And there was 3 in front of him. Sacco might have got there, if he wasn't there. But Payet didn't give him a fucking chance. Payet was give that ball. He saw he was about to shoot, and he was on his toes, following him. Expert goal that. Expert from a top player. You know, to follow it in like that. That's the.
As well, it's the
frame of mind of a great player,
and it's not the frame of mind of my work's done now. I've given it to him to have a shot.
Exactly, he works. That's what
I love about Lanzini as well. He's not afraid to shoot. You know, he makes that space and he shoot. He done it one just went past the post before we got that equaliser.
I think the first shot he had, it was such a tame effort straight to Pantomime. But then the second,
he's not afraid to shoot.
No,
look how many times over the last couple of seasons have we got at the edge of that box and no one shot.
I bet
gone backwards.
I bet he gets about 4 or 5 this year.
Yeah. You go back to last season, the amount of time we had the ball in that situation and then pass it out wide.
Yeah, exactly.
So only pass it back into the middle. You know,
if he shoots and it goes wide,
at least he's had a go.
Exactly.
Like, look what happened yesterday. He shot, keeper's fumbled it, Payet's tapped it in.
That's it.
And he had a couple of strikes, whistled past the post. On another day, they go in. You know, I like him. Do you know what? I'd get him tied up in January.
I would as well. The thing is though, because of his age and them clubs in Saudi Arabia and all that, it's going to be a big fee, isn't it? Because they're going to want money for that.
Yeah, but if looking at him now, if they wanted say 8 million for him, I'd pay that.
Oh yeah.
Got to.
I would.
But then if they start saying no, we want 15, 20 million, you can't. We ain't a club in that situation.
Not for Lanzini.
They played 6 minutes. Teams like.
But then you look at it as someone like say a United or a Chelsea or a top 4 club see him play for us and think, we'll take a gamble on him. Then he becomes like
a
world-class player. You know,
they've either got to tie it up in January. The thing is, we don't know. It might be on one of them deals where he's on a season-long line and we're buying him at the end of the season. Maybe we didn't have the funds.
I think that. Do you know what? Actually, I do maybe think that was mentioned. I'll have to check that, but I'm sure when he come, I'm sure it said he had an option with him. That means a fee would be already set.
Because I think we had that sort of thing with.
For me, a fee would probably be about 4.5 million.
If they wanted to let him go.
He's got to be worth 7-8 million.
Lanzini. Yeah, I'd say between 5 and 7. I'd say
in today's prices. You know what I mean? Like, so we get the second goal. We was knocking on the door.
Is that how you knock on the door? I don't let you in. You like that on the door.
Knocking on the door. We just couldn't get it. There was just not enough penetration there.
It's a shame that Reed had to go off and we had to bring Collins on, because if Reed would have stayed on the whole game, we could have brought on another forward to get that goal. But
Jelavic nearly got one.
Jelavic. Creswell had a great strike at the end.
We had the free kick, didn't we? Play it smack straight to
Pay.
Which I think he should have let Creswell have, because I think that would have suited Creswell better than him. And then he puts that ball in for
what was that?
What the fuck was that? Oh, it's the thing over in the corner coming off. Then he puts the ball in for Jelavic. Now, do you think Jelavic should have tried with his head? A diving header.
It's one of them instinct moments.
I looked it back. I said to him when he missed it, I said, "How did he miss that?" Yeah. When I looked it back, it's in that gap where you're not quite sure whether it's got to be a foot or head.
Yeah, it was like Gaza in Euro 96.
But it did come off of someone like that as well. It come off. It got that, and he was waiting, and it come off of someone. If he'd gambled and gone forward, it's a goal.
Yeah,
but he's sort of like definitely. He's sort of like he's waiting for it, and he's made that instinct because he's come off someone's head and sort of like moved it half an inch. He's had to then go for it. He's got to make a decision head or foot, and it's in that gap where you just can't, you don't know what to do. Like,
and maybe if he ain't played a lot of games.
I don't think that comes into it. I think he's experienced enough to, he'll look at that again. If they don't hit anyone, that's a goal. Yeah, it's a tap-in. He was shaped up to put it in. But it then got that deflection. He's got a split second to decide: do I head this? The thing is, you try and head something like that. You look like a prat. If you miss it completely. You know what I mean?
The good thing for us is, one, we're getting the ball in that position, and two, the strikers are there trying to get on the end of it.
I thought he done all right when he came on yesterday. I thought he held the ball up all right.
I think he will turn out to be an alright signing for us. He ain't going to be a starter.
He ain't going to play.
Once all our players are back fully fit, he probably won't even make the bench.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think he made the bench last week, did he?
Yeah,
he did.
Carroll, yeah.
Oxford come in today.
Because you've got Valencia back, you've got Song back.
Yeah, that's right. You got Carroll.
But then maybe Antonio won't make the bench.
Maybe.
He might be back on loan to Forest.
Well, that's it.
Could go.
But what I loved about yesterday as well, and like on the fan cams after as well, we all said the same thing. It's good that West Ham have got a fight in them this season, and we can come back from 2-0 down.
But I think people, you know what, right? I'm going to get pelters for this one and all. People forget we done that a lot last season.
Yeah,
we done that at the beginning of the season. People can only remember the last part of last season after Christmas. There was a couple of times when last year we were sitting there, and we didn't do this then, but I was sitting there with my old man sitting there talking as we are now and saying, you know what, we've got to fight now, because I remember coming back from Stoke. We wouldn't have never come back from Stoke 2-0 down, and there was a couple of times we come back, got hard fought draws from a couple of goals down, but people weren't remembering that, and they're just saying, someone said yesterday, it's one of the types of videos, that would have been 5-0 last season. It depends what part of the season you look at. People start sort of like have poo-pooed the last season. You know what I mean? Like, at the beginning of last season, it was like this.
Oh yeah, before Christmas it was exactly the same.
Yeah.
In fact, I think we was higher in the league. Was we higher in the league?
It was fourth, last year.
We're about where we are now.
Yeah. So
this is, like you said though, this is the thing. Once everyone's back fit, and then when we get in that second,
then I'll judge him.
But we only had in that first half of the season, we only beat Liverpool in the top four.
And Man City.
And Man City as well. But that was at home. But now we've gone away to these teams. I think that's why everyone's getting a bit, forgetting about last season.
When you think about it, it's a very similar pattern.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. But it's the way we can. For me, and I've said it before, the reason why we had a shit second half of the season is because Sam wasn't allowed to spend in January. He wasn't allowed to bring players in.
I think you're right with that.
That's why.
I think the players knew he was gone. I think the players just.
Yeah, no, me too. I think they were told.
If the manager's going,
I've heard stories of it coming out in bad ways. Stories. I'm not going to say they're the truth, but like it was something like they was ordering business cars in December, and he never got a load delivered to him.
Yeah, and it's just all.
Yeah,
it's just all thingy.
It's falling apart. It's falling apart. It was things like that. So. Whatever, he's gone. Let's move on. Yeah, regardless what happens, let's get behind this manager with everybody.
With Bilic and this squad, if we can get him fully fit, I'll say this now, I don't think we'll lose more than 3 games in a row this season. I don't think we'll lose more than 3 games in a row.
To be fair, I can't see us losing 3 games in a row.
That's what I'm saying. I can't see us losing. I think we'll lose 1 or maybe 2, and then we'll come back. We won't go 4 or 5 games without a win.
Palace are flying high. At the minute, we've got them next.
Yeah.
I can see us going there and doing them, or getting a result.
London derby.
Yeah, I'm not frightened of them. And like a couple of years ago, I would have been frightened of them.
Oh, well, I don't think we can be frightened of anyone. When you go to the teams we haven't won,
you can't.
We haven't gone there and fluked to win. City, maybe we can say, we held it out, but we still went 2-0 up. Arsenal, we fully deserved it. Liverpool, We hammered them, you know, let's be honest. But, you know, we can't go to any club this season and not feel confident of getting a victory. Chelsea, United still to play.
Chelsea,
Everton,
do you know what?
big team that we struggle against.
Gutted that the international break is now.
Yeah.
You want to play Chelsea now. They are, and watching Ivanovic, our wingers are going to tear.
I don't think Mourinho will be there after international break.
I think he'll walk out.
I think he'll walk.
I think he'll still be.
I hope he does and all. I hope he does.
Said what we just don't want to, for our point of view, is that they come back after that break. Whoever they got next, they absolutely annihilate them. You know,
I don't know what they've got.
But people said that yesterday about Southampton. Oh, they're 1-0 up there, and they're going to. It's the same. Chelsea going to come back United. They lost 3-1. You know, they're not as good as they think they are.
No. I think
their old guards are starting to lose their heads, and Carroll looked poor yesterday.
I think the only downside for us when we get to Chelsea is it's at home. Just because
then that could be a good thing.
We can set up like that, like we do.
Yeah, but that could be a good thing. That's what we need at home. A London derby against a big team, you know, down on their knees. We're riding high, you know what I mean, at the moment. A lot of confidence. Go at them. You know, we know we've got wingers now. Ivanovic might as well stay at home that day because Payet's going to take the piss out of him. John Terry as well. If Terry plays that day,
it's good, yeah.
He can't play no more. He can't.
I hope he does.
Yesterday was
to be fair. I want him to play. I want Ivanovic play, and I want Carroll to play because if Carroll's
Kerry Dixon playing,
if Carroll's fit,
he weren't no better. Ramirez either. I watched the highlights. He was rubbish. Ramirez, Matic was bad.
Falcao is just
Hazard is just a ghost of a man that he was last year.
Yeah. Will Costa be back for our game?
Yeah, he's back next game. So I don't care about him. It doesn't worry me whatsoever. Apart from going around fucking pissing everyone off, he doesn't bother me. No. He don't bother me one bit.
To be honest, I think Palace would be an harder game than Chelsea.
Well, let's wait. Let's wait a couple of weeks.
The thing with Palace as well is the old ex-manager syndrome.
We've touched on these bits.
We've played Pardew enough times, haven't we? Now, since
I think we've touched on this a little bit. It's going to Enna's coming back.
Yeah, I was
going to be important.
Just about to say that
back
for the
in
Palace
game. Big boost. Maybe build back for Palace. I think
Alex Song meant to be back as well.
Meant to be coming back.
With Valencia, he gives us something different.
Gives us pace.
Yeah, that's you know, the way we're setting up. That is something, you know, that we need.
That's what I'm saying. A fully fit squad. If we get a fully fit squad this season with the players we've got, I can't see why we can't guarantee top 8, push for a top 6.
Yeah, I think we should be looking at top 8 without fail.
Oh, we should be looking at that
especially
anyway.
with the start we've had.
That should be our aim every season.
Yeah, it should have been. That should have been where we finished last season.
Yeah.
You know, we should have been in the top 8.
But yeah, Valencia back is going to be a massive boost. It's a shame why he got injured so early in the season. But then again, would we have had the results we've had if Valencia?
You can't know. It's a butterfly effect.
You don't know. But it'd be good to have him back. The option.
Another good bit of news come out this week is Adrian, 2-year contract with a 2-year option.
Good news.
Good news. That's good. He was going to go at the end of the year, wasn't he, for nothing? He could have.
I think he had one more year, didn't he?
I don't know. I can't remember. I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was coming to an end.
But now, when you look at that, that's what this from the end of last season. Reedy's tied down to a new contract. Adrian's tied down. Tompkins signed a new one, or was that last season?
No, but it was a long-term
5-year deal.
Him and Nobes.
Nobes down to a 5-year deal.
I think with Tompkins' deal, when it works out, when that runs out, he would have been at the club 23 years.
From a kid.
I love it.
You know, it's a good statement for the club.
Would you say that Adrian is the best keeper we've ever had at West Ham?
Nah, Parksy goes some, doesn't he? He's. I tell you what.
But look,
another season in the same. He could be up there.
I think he's up there already.
I think
the saves he's pulled off this season,
he is up
so far.
It's not just his last.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But just this season alone, I think he's
one of the most likeable characters.
Oh yeah,
I think.
I don't think there's anyone that hates him, apart from Randolph.
I quite like him as well. I've warmed to him.
Yeah,
Randolph.
Yeah, he's one of them, and he's won over the fans. I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
What we saw pre-season and all that, everyone was like, "Oh bloody hell!" Now we've got him for 3 games, but
I think he could be the most popular goalkeeper since Ludo.
Adrian, without foul.
I didn't really take to Greeny. I liked Greeny.
I like Greeny. Yeah.
I never really took to him.
He's got an arrogant attitude about him, Robert Green, isn't he? Adrian loves it. He comes out. He's like
Jamesy was the same. I never really took to him either. I liked him, but
when you look at Ludo was outstanding for us, you know, and he was a fan's favourite.
Jimmy Walker was outstanding. I see some.
Jimmy Walker was a likeable character as well.
But it's the more the character.
Yeah,
you know.
Les Seeley, he was a legend. I used to love him, watching him warm up, entertaining the crowd.
But that's it, though. Like you said, he's Adrian's a fan's favourite. You know, and he interacts with the crowd.
What's the matter with your
words, man? Your words are fucking awful. He's just got that. He's a likeable bloke as well, and he just comes across as he's so happy. He feels blessed. He just feels humble and down to earth.
And he seems happy to be here.
Yeah.
You know, he seems.
Knowing the Sullivans, they've probably heard through the grapevine that one of the big clubs are sniffing around for Adrian, and therefore let's tie him down quick. We get 20 million here on the cheap.
On the cheap,
yeah. 20 would be.
One more thing we've got to talk about is someone that was absent again this week.
Graham.
Absent.
At least he gets.
He's like the Andy Carroll of post-match pint, isn't he?
At least he gets a mention when he's not here.
He's like the Andy Carroll of post-match pint.
He's our Andy Carroll.
Sporadically here. What's happened to him this week?
Andy Carroll?
Yeah.
I just feel like he picked up a little knock last week against Norwich. He was training all week. Maybe they just thought, is it worth risking him in a game like Sunderland away? He's a Newcastle lad, so the fans are going to be on him, the players are going to be clattering
he's
him.
He's
going to be up for it, he's going to be overexcited. Leave him. He's got another 2 weeks off now.
Like we said, they're managing him a lot better.
They're not rushing him. We've got other options now, but we're at Carroll.
I'm gonna say something. If this is managing him and it's leaving him out, I don't want him here.
But
you can't. What would you rather? Would you rather have been played at Sunderland?
I wouldn't. But if this is gonna, I'm not saying this. I'll give him a leeway this week. He's just coming back. But if this is how it's going to be, whereas, you know, Andy's got he fucking shut his thumb in the door. We better leave him at home this week.
Yeah, but that's
going to be like
ridiculous, isn't it?
Get him out.
Things like that ain't going to happen. I'm talking about.
No, they are though, right?
They're not going to leave him at home for shutting his thumb in the door.
No, but if he's training, I'm using that as a sort of like a metaphor sort of.
I know what you're saying, but if he's had a long-term injury, he's only been back 2 games now. Newcastle,
I'll give him
Norwich. If he's picked up a little knock, why risk him at something?
I'll give him a benefit of the doubt this time. But if this is how it goes in 2 months, 3 months' time, then I don't want him here.
Right, but then if the same thing happens to Song and Valencia, who've both been out a long time, are you going to feel the same with them?
Because they've not got the same record.
The problem with Carroll is
Valencia's got a bad injury record for us. He was out a long time last season. He's been out since June this season.
Yeah, but they're like, I don't know, they're different injuries. I don't feel the same as I do against Carroll.
An injury's an injury.
No,
you just got a hate campaign against Carroll.
No, I love Carroll
because he's like he's a transfer type. He's a big transfer fee.
He's been here. What's he been here since he's been on? 4 years. Arrived injured.
Yeah.
Injured pre-season or the last game of the season. At that season when we signed him, injured. Started injured again. Yeah,
I know what you're saying. But you can't say like it's bad management or whatever, leaving him at home for the Sunderland game, because I think he would have been.
No, I'm not saying it's bad management. I'm just saying if that's how it's going to go, if that's the management.
I get what you're saying, but I think they're just managing him like that because he's just come back, and they don't want him to go because, as we said before, he plays, he gives 110%, and for me that's his big problem. And that's how he picked up that knock last week. Was tackling back in the midfield.
I hope it's precautionary.
He's training on Friday. This on the West Ham YouTube channel.
Maybe the way they wanted to play against Sunderland, I
just don't think they wanted to take him up there.
Angelovic, and they brought him on. They definitely wanted to.
They've probably sat there and thought, right, like I said, Newcastle lads, Sunderland away. He's going to be up for it. Bang, bang, bang. Players are going to be going into him. Why risk him?
Palace could be more of a game for Carroll.
Yeah.
You know, with people like England, and they've got a big back four, so maybe it might suit Carroll playing against Palace. I just think that because the option's there, it's now we can pick and choose when we need him to play.
Yeah, exactly.
We need him to get
sort of
match
luxury
fit.
now.
Yeah, we need him to get match fit. And like I said, we don't want a player, as we are now this season, we don't want a player on his wages sitting on the bench. Next season, once we're earning a hell of a lot more money, it's fair enough. But this season, we don't want that. We want him to be playing. But you've still got to, like I said, we've said before, one more injury, he's finished. You know, you can't justify keeping him.
Yeah, but now that's the thing with Andy Carroll now. Everyone's going to be looking at him and he picks up a little knock. Oh, that's it. He's out for 6 months.
Look at last week when he got that knock. The whole ground.
Yeah, because everyone. I think that's more people were frustrated for him.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people don't like him anyway. There's fans out there that can't stand him. That's fair enough.
I just want to see the bloke play.
Yeah, when people see him go down, I think that was like, they felt sorry for him.
Yeah, I did. As soon as I thought,
but you got to remember, he's only young.
Yeah, I felt sorry for him, and then I thought, why are you making challenges like that? Just don't do it. Just
because,
stop
like
doing
I said,
it.
he's too eager. He wants to come on. He wants to. Instead of running around, getting into the game, couple of touches, bang bang, he wants to go clatter into the goalkeeper.
I'm sure he made like 2 tackles.
Yeah, because he's eager. He wants to impress. He wants to impress the West Ham fans.
But the thing is, he wants to
by
impress the
scoring
manager.
goals.
And Bilic.
Yeah.
Impressed by scoring goals. That's what I want him there
That's
for.
all I want him to do.
And I know he can do it.
Score goals. Yeah.
So,
I said, Andy Carroll, for me, has got the potential to be one of them players that's first name on the team sheet for us and sniffing around that England squad all day long. Because he is something completely different.
I think it's England time. I don't think it's England time's finished, but I think you'll find it difficult to get in there now.
I ain't bothered if he does, because normally with our track record of players going in away doing
Way goes, he likes to take like 3 strikers, and I think Kane's in there now. He's going to be sniffing around the squad, and he likes to take Welbeck as well for utility. Do you know what I mean? He likes
looking at Roy Hodgson's squad. If you made like 2 appearances in the Premier League, you get in there now. Yeah, some of them players that he's picked, he's a fucking idiot. That bloke, I can't stand him.
I don't know what his beef is with West Ham though. I really don't know what his beef is. There should be a couple that should be sniffing around that squad.
Probably the FA's beef.
Cresswell should be sort of given an opportunity, especially with Shaw out. You know, Shaw's out for.
Then he calls up Gibbs, who ain't even hardly played for Arsenal.
That's it. At the end of the day, for some reason, the FA's either got something against us or Roy Hodgson's got something against us.
It doesn't bother me. Just leave them at home.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because they're not
same as Payet. He's not getting picked for France. He's not getting picked for France.
Kabay can go and play in that position all day long for France.
You know, people slagging me off. Why don't he get? If Payet's so good, why don't he get in over France? He's had a beef with the manager, and the manager just now won't pick him. Fuck him. Let him stay. Unless he's got burning desire to play for France, then he can stay at home and have a fucking week off. As far as I'm concerned,
I'd rather
let Kabay go and fucking break his leg. And they're playing a fucking Nigerian team or something, you know what I mean, that want to clatter them.
That is it. I'd rather all our players stay at home. Yeah,
all of them.
Stay in there, but you got to think of the players. Like,
that's it.
I feel for people like Nobes, who should have like on past form, who should have got 1 or 2 caps.
2 seasons ago, there was no way.
Joey Barton got 1 cap.
Yeah.
Noble ain't got.
Jarvis got 1 cap.
Listen, Titus Bramble has got caps for England. Michael Ricketts.
When you look at defenders like that,
and Jay Boothroyd has got a cap for England.
Not being funny, they was in a lot better England sides than they are now as well.
Yeah. No, we said this before with Noble. The way he was playing, I don't know whether it was last season or the season before we said it, that he should be picked on the way he's playing.
Nah, for me, if you've captained an under-21, a successful under-21 team for so many years, so many caps, you should be given the chance to play.
James Milner got given the chance.
Yeah, that's what
I'm saying. I don't think you can go on that.
There's no, to me, what's the dip? James Milner, right? He works hard. Yeah, Noble works hard.
James Milner went to
he's got certain qualities about him. James Milner.
Yeah, of course he has. You don't play for Man City and Liverpool and other top teams.
No, he doesn't. I mean? But what I'm saying is that he got in there on the fact that he's a worker, he's a grafter. He was playing in positions where he doesn't play for his club. You know, on the fact that he works hard. You know, it was like, right, we're going to put him in.
I think Noble was in that period where he had the greats like Lampard and Gerrard in front of him, and then as they come towards the end of the career, we found the new players coming through like Jack Wilshere, but Jack Wilshere's always injured, and as soon as he comes back,
he
gets back in the squad, and then he's injured again. I mean, people talk about Andy Carroll's injury. Jack Wilshere is one. He's like his bones made of Weetabix.
But this is the thing for me. Like you saying with the squad. Right?
It's really weak, bro. they are though. He gets a clap and he's out.
So that's the thing, right? So from I know we're going way off because we're talking about England, right? But from an England point of view, do you want a player like Wiltshire, a player like Welbeck, a player like Sturridge, who are always one injury away from being out long term again? Or why not pick these players that are in good form?
Especially now, England have qualified. We're going to the Euros next year. We've won the group. We've got 2 games left. Why not leave the big players at home?
And try.
Why not leave Joe Hart out of the team and play Butland? Because I think Butland it will push Joe Hart.
I think Ruddy can as well.
The thing is, you're one from an England point of view. You're one injury away from your team going.
Do they even get in the England squad? Because I'm sure it's Forster and Foster, isn't it?
No, Ruddy was in the last one.
Butland's in the squad.
Butland's in it.
So what about Forster and Foster? No?
No.
Not getting in it no more.
Where is one of them was at Southampton.
Yeah, Forster. He's injured at the moment, isn't he?
But that's what I'm saying.
I think Ruddy, I'll tell you what, I've been very impressed with Ruddy this year.
Yeah.
Very impressed with him. And I've never been, he's Ruddy good, yeah. I've never been Joe Hart's biggest fan. I've never been his biggest fan.
I do like Joe Hart.
I like him in parts, but I think he thinks he's 10 times better than what he is.
If
he was half as good as he thinks he is, he'd be 10 times better than he actually is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
But he's got that I play for the top team syndrome, isn't he? Like he thinks he's untouchable, like most players these days. Anyway, fuck England.
Yeah, exactly.
I would get 6 points out of 6. Not that we need them, but it's confidence, isn't it?
No,
old campaign.
Going back to Scott's, what Scott said about England, about the FA. I don't think it's the FA. I don't think it's the FA's got a problem. I think it's Hodgson, because he picked Downing last year.
Yeah.
When he had no choice. No. You know, there was calls for Downing. Downing was playing out his skin. There was no one better. If he hadn't picked him, I think he would have definitely been. They would have turned around and said, "Do you know what? You just don't like West Ham. You just don't like West Ham." And he picked Downing. What did he do? Flung him out on the wing.
Exactly where he hadn't played.
Scotland away.
Yeah.
It was just Scotland away, wasn't it? He played.
We spoke to Downing, and he's turned out to be a little prick as well since he's left us. But we spoke to Downing at that fan forum, and he said he picked him and told him he picked him to go in that cam role, that centre attacking midfielding role, and he said, and then as soon as he got the call, he chucked him out on the wing.
That's it. But
in the friendly, you know, they never.
He's going back to Creswell, right?
And you know why he chucked him out on the wing? Because he knows he's no good on the wing anymore.
Yeah.
And then he can justify himself dropping him again.
But it's like with Creswell, right? Creswell has got Gibbs, who doesn't play for Arsenal. Danny Rose, Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw's now out injured. Danny Rose ain't having a great season. Leighton Baines, who's injured. And who's the Southampton? Bernard?
Bertrand.
Bernard. But you can't tell me that Creswell's worse than all them.
No, of course he's not.
Worse ain't a word.
No, he's worse than all them.
Creswell's probably one of the best left backs in the league.
Yeah.
You know,
on his day.
Yeah, on his day. But listen, fucking great point yesterday.
Great point. Yeah. Well.
At the start of the game, we weren't a great point, but at the end of the game, it was a great point.
We'll take the point. Undefeated now.
Yeah.
5 games. That's important.
That's what I said on the fan cams yesterday. That's a positive you've got to take. A fight back, still unbeaten on the road.
Yeah.
You know, with
4-4 away from home.
4-4-4.
That's the most we've conceded away from home in one game, isn't it? Too, yeah. So
it's positives, still positives to take, but we've got to start rectifying the mistakes. He should be, if he's got them players there this week. They're not going away on international duty. He should be working on that.
They're mistakes for me. We haven't.
Listen, it's all new for Bilic as well, isn't it? It's his first year.
Yeah, I said last week that he's had a very staggered pre-season. It's a difficult. It was a difficult thing to step into with the European games and all that. And he's done of course he's done brilliantly, but rectify it, learn from it. You know, that's the key. As long as we do that, we'll be fine.
Roll on Palace,
yeah, let's get rid of Palace, we'll get them. All 3 of us, isn't it?
Yeah, used to sitting together, someone got me a separate seat.
He could sit away.
No, I don't want to be near you.
Sitting together.
I do the vlog and I'll point the camera and say, Ryan, what do you think?
I'll be sitting outside.
Yeah, alright. He's another decano. I went to Ipswich in 1962.
Anyway, let's leave it there. Thanks for watching us.
That's gone on for nearly an hour.
Yeah, because you waffle on about England.
Thanks very much for watching us on this edition of Post-Match Pint. On this edition of Post-Match Pint, we'll be back for the Crystal Palace game. I said last week the Chelsea game, but I thought Chelsea.
Yeah, I thought it was
Palace.
Chelsea next week.
But it's not. So we'll be back for the Crystal Palace game, then the Chelsea game after that. Follow us on Twitter at West Ham Fan TV, Facebook.com/West Ham Fan TV, Instagram West Ham Fan TV. Check us out on our website. We'll be writing a newsletter very soon. You're going to write that in the next week. www.westhamfan.tv.
Well, I'm talking in a minute. My better get it.
Newsletter.
And yeah, so we'll leave it there. Yeah. And there's one thing left to say. Come on, you irons.